when to open the connection and when to close the connection. It is managed by Spring JDBC. You don't have to manage that. Writing the SQL query and declaring the values. Declaring the values, or you can say giving input. Giving input. These things are done by developer. Now preparing and executing the statement, set up a loop for iterating, process any exception if there is any exception is coming, handling the transaction. So all these things will be done by Spring JDBC. Then we have seen how Spring JDBC is more powerful than normal JDBC because it is using something as JDBC template inside it. Now, what is this JDBC template? So, it is a helper class provided by Spring JDBC module, and it simplifies the database operation. So, the Spring JDBC is built by using JDBC API and JDBC template. Then we have seen something as data source. So data source is an interface. It's not a class. It is an interface which is available in Java X.SQL package. It is used to configure the connection with the database, and it is better than driver manager because of two things. At first, it supports connection pooling, and second, it can be easily managed and configured by container. And at last, we have seen what is pooling. So pooling is a process where resources are shared between multiple users, right? Within the meantime, we also developed one project. So we were using something as driver manager data source. And this is a particular class which is used to create a connection with the database. Driver manager data source. When we are talking about normal JDBC, there we use driver manager. What we use? Driver manager class. And this class has a inbuilt method that is get connection. And we have seen the problems with this method. We don't know when to open the connection, when to close the connection. We cannot reuse the connection. We have to create a new connection on every single operation. So there was many problem with this driver manager. So we switched to Spring JDBC, and Spring JDBC is giving us something like this: driver manager data source. What it is giving? Driver manager data source. Now, if you check it, in which package this class is available, so this class is available in Spring Framework dot JDBC, and in JDBC it is available inside data source package. So already we were discussing about that particular part only. Data source is an interface. Now this source is giving us something as driver manager data source. So we'll see what it is. There are something to notice. Now we are not using driver manager to create a connection. What we are using? We are using data source. And data source is giving us one particular class. That class is driver manager data source. It is the class provided by data source, which is used to create a reusable connection with database. Why I am saying the word reusable? Because here this connection will be reusable. So driver manager data source class is used to create a reusable connection, and this particular class is provided by data source. So here let's say I will write a very simple code. So this driver manager data source class has some inbuilt methods. I already told you that how to check a inbuilt class. So go to your IDE and press Ctrl Shift and T. So it will open one dialog box where you can write your class. So here I will write driver manager data source. So this driver manager data source will open. In normal JDBC, the first part was to set the driver class name. And now this is the particular driver manager data source class, which is having some methods like set URL, set username, and set password, right? And we can easily use these methods, right? We can easily use these methods. So when we are talking about this particular class, so it gives us set driver class name. One method given to you by this driver manager data source class is set driver class name. Now if you are on MySQL, that is com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Now this is the class name. It also gives you dot set URL, and here you have to pass the URL of your database. So that is JDBC colon MySQL colon double forward slash localhost colon 3306. Along with this URL, you have to provide the name of one database. Name of one database. Now, if I am writing this particular path, it will try to create a connection with the entire databases, and that is technically not possible. So here you have to provide the information of your database name, that is set URL. It has one more method, that is set username, where whatever your username you can provide as a string. You can provide as a string. Then add set password. Whatever your password you can set. There is one interview question asked to a fresher. What is semicolon in programming? End of the statement. Some technical word. What is semicolon in programming? End of statement you can say, but some technical term that you can answer. In interviews, you cannot say that at end of the statement. Because our classes don't have any semicolons. If I am writing a class in Java, it does not have any semicolon. So it means that class never stop. So end of statement we cannot say. Semicolon in programming is called statement terminator. Statement terminator. Statement terminator means this particular statement is terminating here. So it is statement terminator. So these are the inbuilt method that are provided to us by this driver manager data source class, and all these methods are inbuilt. Now what we will do, we will define one bean of this type, driver manager data source, and we will get one connection, and we will get one connection. How we will get one connection? This driver manager data source class will create a connection to MySQL server. Again, I am saying that I will show all these things with Oracle also, so don't worry. So this driver manager data source class will create a connection to MySQL server with the database named as JDBC2, because you have provided the same database name, right? This one. So this driver manager data source will create a connection with database. That's it. That is the use of this driver manager data source. And who is providing this class? Data source interface. It is implementing this class actually. And everything is inbuilt here. Now, as this is a separate class, last line, this one, data driver manager class will create a connection. This one. Okay. We are giving the driver class name. We are setting the URL. We are setting the username. We are setting the password. Then why we are doing this thing? We are doing these things so that we can create a connection with the database. Otherwise, database is closed. Now this particular driver manager data source class will go to database, and it will say that I have your connection URL, I want to communicate with a database JDBC2. Now my MySQL database will check if there is any JDBC2 or not. So there is one database available with the name JDBC2. So my SQL will say, yes, I have this database, but do you have permission? Permission means, do you have username and password to open this? So this driver manager data source will say that yes, yes, I have username as root and password as root. Now these username as root and password as root are my configuration. They can be different for you, whatever password you are choosing. So this MySQL database will say that okay, I am opening a connection for you. I am opening one connection for you. Now, if someone is using you, they can insert or they can perform CRUD operation inside the database. Why? Because this driver manager data source is having a connection with database. So that is what I have written here, that we are using this particular class so that we are having a connection with the server. Here MySQL I have written because the configuration of MySQLs are done. If I am doing with Oracle, so I will write Oracle here. Now understood? Nothing, just used for creating a connection with database. Already we are doing this particular part in our programming. So what we are doing here, we are creating a method, public driver manager data source, DMDS, driver manager data, or you can keep any name actually. I am just keeping DMDS as the method name. And what I am doing here, creating the object of the class, setting the driver class name, which is MySQL driver class name, setting the URL, setting the username, setting the password. And at last, this particular method is returning DS. DS is what? Just the object of the same class, driver manager data source. Now this DS is having a connection. This DS is having a connection with database. And I have written this particular part as a bean inside the configuration file. Now this configuration means this particular class is a container, and this bean means it is a object. In app.java, this is what we were doing yesterday. So at first I am writing this particular part, that application context container equals to new annotation config. Why annotation config? Because we are not writing XML. We are not writing any DTD. And then we are feeding java config dot class. This java config dot class we are giving to our container. And then we are just printing a message that container is created. Let's try to run it, and container is created. After that, I will check the connection with the database. I will check the connection with the database. As our container is having one bean, and this bean is creating connection with database. So here let's try to print this as my container. So I will say container dot get bean In this bean, I will say dry DMDS, like name I will try to write. I'm not creating object of anything. I am just asking to my container dot get beans of DMDS. I have written in double quote means I am writing the method name. Let's try to run this. So container is created. After that, it is printing something. org.springframework.jdbc.data source driver manager data source at the rate of 44C03695. Something address, some hash code, it is printing. In Java config, let's change something. I am not providing information of any database name. I am just writing the URL for my database, complete database. I am not saying that you have to connect with JDBC too. Now, again, I will run the same thing. So, still we are getting the same answer. Let's try to write something wrong. So, here I will do some extra things. Run it. Again, we are getting the same thing. But actually, this time it is wrong, right? It is wrong this time. This link is wrong. And even though this link is wrong, we are not getting any error. So I think in the documentation we have already provided that it can handle the transaction, it can process any exception. We were expecting one exception here, but we are not getting any exception. But why? Because Spring is checking. Spring JDBC is checking. Are you doing any transaction? No. When you are not doing any transaction, why do you need any connection? Spring is checking. Are you doing any transaction? No transaction. Then why do you need a connection? So opening the connection and closing the connection is actually managed by Spring JDBC. We are not hitting any unnecessary error. If you have remembered when we did JDBC program, this one, in our main method, we were handling an exception. Why? It is unnecessary. Even though we have to write, otherwise these things will not work. So all kind of exception are easily handled by Spring JDBC. Cause here I am not writing throws exception. Here I am not writing anything as throws exception. I am not writing anything. So everything is internally managed by Spring JDBC. So here now we are expecting that we got the connection. Did you understood this driver manager data source, or I should explain it using an architectural diagram? If you understood it, the main motive of this particular class is to provide a connection with database, and we are creating it as a bean so that we can use it n number of times, right? We can use it n number of times. Understood? Okay, very good. So here we got driver manager data source. Already we discussed about something as JDBC template. Again, I will take the discussion to this particular part of JDBC template, because now this is going to be the game changer. JDBC template. What do you understand by template? Obviously, template means already defined structure. So in simple words, we can say that template can be defined as the structure or the blueprint of something, or the blueprint of something. So that is the template. Means how it should look. Means how it should look. Let's say I will write some of the common terminologies. Software development engineer 1. These are the levels of development engineers 1, 2, and 3. Generally, you see SD1, SD2, SD3. So there is a requirement, there is a template for all type of SDE. When you are talking about SDE1, they are generally freshers. Most of the time they are freshers only, completely newbie. SD2 are having an experience of at least 2 to 4 or 5 years, and then more than 5 years you can become SD3. So this is a template for finding a SDE1. Then what is JDBC template? So this JDBC template, already I have written that it is a helper class, but whose help it will do? So let's understand. JDBC template is a helper class, and it is the central class in Spring JDBC. In Spring JDBC, it is the central class. Central class means almost all the things will be revolving around this JDBC template. Almost all the things. So what it does, it provides it provides a very easiest way to to perform CRUD operations, to perform CRUD operations on the database. That now we will use this JDBC template to perform the CRUD operations inside it. But how we will use? It is a predefined class. What it is? It is a predefined class. There is a confusion between JDBC template, whether it is an interface or class. So it is an class. JDBC template. JDBC template is a class which extends another class, that is JDBC accessor, and it implements one interface, that is JDBC operations. So this JDBC template is a class which will going to have lot of methods. So at first, see this particular method. Here we are having one public JDBC template. Now can I say that it is a constructor? See, what is my class name? Class name is JDBC template. And here we are having one method of name JDBC template without any return type, public void int, nothing is the return type. So this is the constructor which is actually accepting one data source as an argument with a method set data source. Means whatever data source I have defined here will be used by JDBC template. We will see this how. And you can provide lazy init to apply lazy loading and other things. So these are the methods of this particular class. By the way, why we are using these kind of things? Because this class gives us one method, that is public int update method. What it gives us? Update method. So this update method is given to us by JDBC template class. What it will do? It will take one string SQL query. After that, it will log that query. Means it will implement that particular part. So you don't have to do prepared statement, nothing. You can simply use the update method given by JDBC template class to perform CRUD operations. So this is update method. It also gives you one method, that is query method. This one. It takes one query method. By doing the query method also you can perform CRUD operation. So here all the methods are already written by the developers. We just have to use them properly now, right? All the particular methods are written by developers. So we will see what it is. What is the main work of it? It makes database operations very easier to make. It makes all the database operations very easier to make, very easier. When we are talking about, that's it, all the database operations are very easier to make. How we will do that? So in my particular container, this is my container, I will create one method, or here we don't say method, we say bean. JDBC template, public method of JDBC template. I will write some name here. You can say template method. Now you can import this particular class. So there is a JDBC template method, and inside I will create the object of JDBC template, that is JDBC template JT equals to new JDBC template. And at last here I will return JT. We will mark this particular thing as a bean here. Now there is a JDBC template, and we already know that JDBC template is giving us some update method. Now in my main app, I will ask my container. So here I will say JDBC template JT equals to container dot get bean of JDBC template dot class. So I am asking the bean of JDBC template from my container. Container is already having one bean for the connection. Now I will write a query here. So string query equals to. So let me show you the database as well. So we are using one database as JDBC2. Inside this, we have one employee table, EMP table. So which is having these values, ID, name, and salary. So here I will write the same query. Insert into EMP values. Values are 6 as a ID, name as XYZ, salary as 399. Any value you can write there. So I have created one query. The JDBC template class gives us one update method. So I will use this object and I will say jt.update, and in update I will give this query because this is a string one. So I am saying jt.update query. We will run this project and we will get some errors, right? So we are getting the error. Already know that we will get this error. If you read this error properly, error creating bean with name template defined in com.jdbc spring jdbc property data source is required. So what it is telling, that whenever you are creating a jdbc template, data source is required. Now this jdbc template, what it is doing, it is just creating the object of itself and returning. And here I have written one query that insert into EMP with the values 6xyz 399, and I am running the update query. I am running the update query. Okay, my JDBC template will try to update this value, but in which database and in which table? There is no information, right? Because connection is given to this particular class. Connection is given to this particular bean, then how JDBC template is using? So here I will say jt dot set data source. I am giving one data source to this JT. What data source? This DMDS method name directly I will give here. Now my JDBC template is having the connection also. Who was having connection? DMDS method. And now JDBC template is having this as a data source. Now again we will run our query. Container is created, and after that we didn't got any error. We got any error? No error. Let's check in the database. The value 6 with the name XYZ and the salary 399 is inserted here. Right? It is inserted here. Again I will open the JDBC template class, and here I will open the update method. What is the return type of this update method? What is the return type of this update method? Int. Means whenever I am running this update method, it will always return one int value. What kind of int value it will return? So here we will print it. Generally, if a method is returning some value, so you can print it. I will change the value. ID is 7, name is MNB, salary is something like this, and we will run. So here container is created, and what we got? 1 here. We got 1. So 1 is a symbol of true, means success. Let's try to add some wrong value. This id I will make as string, means varchar value, and this mnb I will give as a int value. Like this means wrong query I will write. We will run, container is created, and we got lot of exception. So generally in this case it will print 0. 0 is a symbol of false, or so I did this thing so that you can check whether it is returning int or not. Now we know one thing, that this particular part is returning one int value. Whenever I am running jt dot update, it is returning one int value. So I can accept this in a int. So I will say int num equals to jt dot update query. Now we know one thing, that if my database or this method is returning 1, in that case operation is successful. In that case operation is successful, or else operation got terminated, or simply operation terminated. So this is what we are doing here. So let's run. Container is created and operation successful. What value we are inserting? We are inserting 8, something name like this, and the value. And here we got this particular value as well. Now, for a minute, let's understand how this JDBC template is working. Working of JDBC template. Then we will see lot of methods about this particular class, but let's understand how it is working. So in this project we are having one Spring application context IOC container. We are having IOC container, and within the container what we are doing, we have created the object of driver manager data source. So within this particular container we have created the object of, or you can say a method of, this particular class. Now as we know that this particular class is used to create a connection with the database. This particular class is used to create connection with database. ts dot, at first you can set driver class name, some string value you can provide here. Then ds dot set url to your database you can give. Then ds dot set username, we can write username, and then at last password, and then return ds. This is how your this bean is actually looking, right? This is how this bean is actually looking. Wait, I will increase the font size. Now, this is a kind of bean that we have created. And this part is available in our IOC container. Our container is having one more bean, right? And that one bean is for JDBC template. To this template, we are setting the data source. So template dot set data source DMDS as the method name I am setting here, and it is returning JT. Now let's understand how this particular part is working. This is our one IOC container which is working here, right? In the main class, in the main class, I'm trying to do some operation. So there is main class where I am creating object of container, this that I am doing. I have defined one query that is string query equals to some insert command I am doing. And then we are saying jt dot update query. JT is what? JDBC template. So here we are saying, and one more thing, in Spring Boot we will not do this also, because we don't have this container in Spring Boot. There everything is auto configured. Auto configuration is there. So in Spring Boot, this part is also rejected. We don't do this in Spring Boot. How this jt dot query is working? So let's understand. Here is your database. This is my database. And the developer of Spring are saying to us that we have given you one class that is JDBC template. Now you can use this class directly to do the database operation. So I am running one update command on a query. Now, this JDBC template will try to communicate with the database. And let's say in this database, you have that table of those employees only with three fields: ID, name, and salary. This JDBC template is trying to go into the database and fit some values here. But this database will ask, do you have password? So JDBC template will say no, I don't have password, but I can update it. Database will say means not allowed. Then this JDBC template is written in such a way that when you are creating the object of it, uh, or whenever you connection with database. So try that I want to update some values into your table. Database will ask, do you have connection or authentication or a password? This JDBC template will say that no, I don't have password, but I have someone who has your password. Set data source. This one. This DMDS is a method which is having connection with database. Same connection I have provided to this particular JDBC template. In that, it is saying that yes, I have some method that is DMDS, and that particular method has your username and password. Now this database will say, okay, okay, let me check. So it will check the connection. How driver manager data source is written. So this driver manager data source is written to have a driver class of MySQL. Database will say, yes, yes, I am also MySQL. His class name is fine. This is the link to connect, and JDBC2 is the database name. So it will say, yes, yes, I have one database inside me whose name it JDBC2. It will say, I have JDBC2. Then it will say that your username is root and password is also root. So database will say, yes, all the things are correct. Now you can update the values in me. You can update the values in me. So this update query was taking three values with it. Those three values were 8, or let's say 9, name is AAA, and salary is 1399. Now this JT dot update is carrying a query, and this query will fit those values here: ID 9, name AAA, and what 1399. Update method is completed. It returned 1 also. It means that database operation is completed. So how this operation will go? Database will give a path that go inside and do the operation. As everything is managed by Spring now, so once this process is completed, connection is closed again. Connection is closed again. Next time, whenever you are using some JT method, it will open again. So you don't have to close it, you don't have to open it. Automatically, it will do the operations. Okay? Automatically. So that is how JDBC template works. Now, where can we use this update method? Because it gives you only one method, that is update. Now it will update. Let's say here there is one employee whose name is ABC. Now this ABC employee got some promotion. Now his new salary is 110, promotion of 10 rupees. Now we want to update the salary of this employee. So how this query will look like in real time? Something like this: update EMP set salary equals to 110, where ID equals to 1, that we can say. Can we say this? ID equals to 1 or name equals to ABC, both we can say. Now I will try to run the same query again. So here I will try to do that query, that update EMP set salary equals to 110 where ID equals to 1. Let's run the code again. Container is created, an operation successful. Let's check the database as well. Salary updated, salary updated, and we are using the same method, that is update. Values, we can use this for updating the values. Now two operations are left, reading operation and deleting operation, right? Reading and deleting. So let's try to delete. Let's try to delete an employee. So here I will write a query, something like this: delete from EMP where ID equals to 5. Delete from EMP where ID is equal to 5. Is query correct? I want to delete an employee with the ID 5. Is this query correct or not? Yes, sir, correct. So we will run the code now. Container is created and operation terminated. What we got here? Operation terminated. It means that we are not getting 1 this time. It means we are not getting 1 this time. Let's check database also. And here employee is deleted. Here employee is deleted. What does it mean? It means that destruction is always opposite. Destruction is always opposite. Whenever you are deleting something while performing deletion operation, so let's try to do it again. So this time I will delete an employee with ID 6, and we are not accepting this value somewhere. We are just printing it to console so that we can check that actually what kind of value it is returning on deletion. So query is delete from EMP where ID is equal to 6. We will run the code. Container is created and we got 1. And again we will check the database. This time again we are getting 1. So the reason is, last time there were 2 employees with ID 5, and one time it will remove and another time it will say nothing to remove, right? So destruction works in an opposite way. So this is a very simple operation where we have seen that we can actually insert the values, we can update the values, and we can delete the values as well using update method. Is it that much simple? So yes. Let's try to read the values. So I will say select asterisk from EMP. And again I will write the update query and be ready for exceptions or errors, because here we don't use update method. And the reason is, update method cannot issue statement that produce a result set. Now this is saying that you cannot use update method that are generating some result set. Then what we use for fetching the values? Query method. Query, right? Simple query method we use for fetching the values from database. Again, for that you should have exactly complete knowledge of something, that is result set from your normal JDBC. You should know about row mapper, and row mapper is completely different thing here, so that we will see now. But before that, we have to perform a task. You understood how this JDBC template is working? Or if you have any doubt in this JDBC template, you can ask. Is everything clear? Because whenever we are having multiple rows with the same ID, it works on command. It works on command. Let's say there is a table, and on that table, can you please repeat the query method? Till now, I haven't written the query method. Where I have written query method, till now I haven't even written query method. So let's say there is a table, and on that table, two apples are there. I said, Shrikar, go and bring the apple of red color. Now both the apple are of red color. Which one you will choose? Which one is placed on left hand side or right hand side? Any one. How you will choose that? Okay, this apple I have to choose. Say. Let's say you have two apples. This is one apple and this is one apple. I have given you a command that bring the apple which is of red color. Then which one you will choose? Think like a compiler here, or think like a interpreter. Can you choose any one of them? And if you are choosing this one, let's say its name is A, its name is B, but identity I am giving you that color should be equal to red. Color should be equal to red. Now, if you are choosing this A apple, give me your reason. If you are choosing B apple, give me your reason. Confusion, right? Choose both. Bring both to me. I will decide which one I have to eat. So that is why whenever you are having multiple rows with the same parameter, generally these IDs and all are written unique. Generally the ID we are writing as primary key, right? So that duplicate values are not there. But in that case, if there are duplicate values, so operation is going to be performed on all. The reason is, if I am saying you that go to table and bring red apple, both are red, which one you will bring? Both. So that is why both are getting deleted. Now, using this knowledge of JDBC template, we are going to create an employee management system. What we are going to create? See, again I am saying reading operation we haven't discussed till now. That will be with row mapper. We are going to create one employee management system, and it is a mini project. Employee management system using Spring JDBC, in which we will use JDBC template and data source, so that you are having a complete confidence on these two things. So what is the task? Task is develop a Spring application. So the first task, I am writing steps here. It will be more easy for you to understand. So the first is develop a Spring application. Create a container class and create the beans for data source and JDBC template. Now what we have to do, in your database, in your database, create a new database named as EMS, Employee Management System. In the database, or else these two things you can do after creating the application. That in the database, create a table for employees with the fields. How many fields this table should have? ID. I am giving hint also that it should be int and it should be primary key. All the employees should have name in varchar at least 2030. They should have a mobile number. Now mobile number is your choice. You can take it in long or you can take it in varchar, doesn't matter. Means you can take string value. ID, name, mobile number. You should take email ID and you should take salary. So these are the 5 fields which should be available in your particular table. After that, create a container and connect the database this table. Now in the main class, generate 4 options for user. 4 options for user. What 4 options we will generate? Add a new employee. Now let's say this particular app is given to HR department. They can add a new employee. So they will choose with option 1, 2, 3, 4. Second option is they can update an employee. That you can update an existing employee. Third option is delete an employee. And fourth option is you can ask to exit. That okay, now you can exit. So this is our task now that we have to do. It's a normal, and I will mention this as a mini project. Mini project. Of course, we will do this same thing with Oracle. This project I will do with MySQL. Oracle we will do when we are done with query method also, right? So this also we will do with MySQL. Both are using SQL only. There is no need to worry, right? So Let's start solving it step by step. Develop a Spring application. Only do it with Oracle because we learn Oracle only. So only you have learned Oracle. There are a lot of people who are with MySQL. And I think there is no point of argument here because I have already said we are going to do with Oracle also. Can we create package with home controller? Yes, of course, you can create package with home controller also. That is also a good idea. We will not do in the home page. And this database discussion between Oracle and MySQL should not be there when I am saying I will do with both. So at first, in the home controller, home controller class, right? We will not do in the main one. In main one, we will just run. Sorted? So in the first step, what we are doing? Developing a Spring application. So close and close. Spring application means no specification. We will create a Maven project. So here I am creating a Maven project. Archetype as quick start. Artifact ID is employee MS. Employee MS means employee management system. Employee MS. We will just finish it. We will just follow the steps that are given here. We will not do anything extra. Develop a Spring application. So here employee MS we are getting. Now this is a normal Java project actually, right? It's not a Spring application. What we have to do to convert it to a Spring application? What we have to do? Answer it. Adding the dependency of what? Spring core. So just now we created one project Spring JDBC in which we are adding the dependency, right? So same dependency we will use here also for Spring core, Spring context, Spring JDBC and MySQL connector. All four we will use there also. So just copy and paste. So in the employee management system pom.xml, I will paste all those dependencies and save the file. And here we got all the required jar files sorted. What is the second step? In your database, create a new database named as EMS. So here I will create it, create database EMS. Query OK, database created. In the next step, in the database, create a table for employees. So at first, I should use this database. So I will say use EMS. Now here I will create a table. Create table employee. Create table employee. ID int primary key. You understand primary key, foreign key, all these things? Very good. Primary key means unique. Foreign key means, huh? Loudly. Reference key. Valued key. valued key, duplicate key, leave it. So I am creating id as int. In case of Oracle, you have to write number. Id int primary key. What are other fields? Name as varchar 20. Name as varchar 20. In SQL, we write only varchar. Varchar 2 we write in case of Oracle. Okay? Here only varchar is valid. Then next is mobile number. Now there is a choice. You can take this mobile number as varchar of 10 digits. Right? Means there we will accept string value for mobile number. Generally there will be a type mismatch between long and short int like that. So mobile number in varchar of length 10. After mobile number, email ID of varchar 30, because it has at the rate of gmail.com big number. After email ID, we are taking salary in int. And that's it. So this is how my query is looking now. Query OK means my table of employees is created. Employee. This is my employee table now, where ID is primary key, name is varchar 20, mobile number is varchar 10, email ID is varchar 30, and salary is int again. In the next step, create a container class. So in the same package only, in the same package, employee ms, I will create container class, that is Java config. You can write any name, by the way, Java config. So at first, if it is a container, it should be having configuration annotation, right? And create the beans for data source and JDBC template. So create public. Now how to achieve connection in Spring JDBC? Which class? Driver manager data source. Driver manager data source, DMDS. You can keep any name, by the way, there is no issue. Now we should create object of same class here. Created. And now we will return this connection. But for working with connection, we should give values as well. So ds dot set driver class name. So here we have to write driver class name as we are on MySQL. com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. And then ds dot set URL. URL is we are working with JDBC. MySQL is my database name, which runs on localhost 3306. Have you ever checked it on localhost 3306? Let's say if we are saying, and then we have to provide a database name, that is EMS. ds dot set username. Username in my case is root, and ds dot set password. In my case, the password is also root. So let's say I will open the workbench of MySQL with the same password, root actually. Now here it is running. Now, what is visible on localhost 3306 here? So, this page is not working, right? So, here we are writing localhost of MySQL, not the localhost of your machine, right? So, never get confused in this localhost. Now, it should be a bean. So, I will annotate this method with a bean. Now, we should have one more bean as well. So, I will say at the rate of bean for public JDBC template template, and again we will create the object of JDBC template JT equals to new JDBC template return JT, and here JT dot set data source, that is DMDS method. Last time also we did it. I hope it is clear. Clear? Any doubt in this? Okay. In this, we have mentioned one thing also, that in the home controller class, means we are not going to work in the main class. In main class, we will just call our employee management system. That's it. So here I will create a new package using this base package. Package dot controller. Remember that we create lot of package, and now in this controller at first I will create a home class, that is home controller. We will create the object of this home controller in this main app. So its bean should be created. So in the container only I will create public home controller HC home controller home controller equals to new home controller. Because we are following Java based configuration, so I am writing bean here. Otherwise I can simply declare as a component, right? But here we are not doing it. Return controller, and it is a bean. In home controller, what we will do, there is a method void. Let's make it a public method. So public void, you can say EMS method, public void EMS method. Now what we will do in this method, we are just doing something is show these four options. Show four options to the user. Add a new employee, update an existing employee, or delete an employee. So in this EMS method, at first I will print a message, that is employee management portal. It is employee management portal. And only these two things let's check in the main app. So at first we should configure a container here, that is application context container equals to new annotation config application context. And which class we have to give here? Java config dot class, right? Now we will ask to our container that do you have bean of home controller? So home controller HC equals to container dot get bean of what? home controller dot class like this. Now, as we know, this home controller has a method, EMS method. In my main app, I will call this method, that is hc.ems method, right? Here we are just calling the EMS method, run it, and we got employee management portal, whatever is you are writing there. Now we will give one print message again, that choose your option, choose your options or option. Now we will give four option to the user. The first option is add an employee. Second option is update an existing employee. Third option is delete an employee. Delete an employee. And the fourth option is exit. So again I will run the main class to see if it is working fine. So kind of it is working fine. Now user will give choice. So here we should create object of scanner class. Scanner sc equals to new scanner system dot in. Now user will give its choice. So after these message I can say int choice is equals to sc dot next int. Sc dot next int. Now on the basis of what user is choosing, we will do the operations. Switch statement you can use, or if else we can use. But at first let's use switch only. So I will use switch, and this switch will work on the value of choice. Time is not there, so we will just write the case 1. The case 1 for the switch is we are printing one message, employee added. Just we are writing it. Operation we will do tomorrow. Employee added. Break. In the case 2, again we are printing employee updated. Here we are doing employee updated, and again break. On case 3 we are doing employee deleted. There is no database operation, we are just writing these functions with the print command. On the case 4 you are exited. You are exited. And here break again. Now we will try to run the main app. So we are getting option, choose an option. I will choose first option, employee added. When employee is added, I should get these options again, right? What if I want to do another operation? So whatever we are doing here, whatever this part, we should do all this part inside a while loop. While loop. And this while loop is working true. This while loop is true every time. Directly I'm passing true as a parameter. So let's run. Here I will type one. So employee added, employee management portal. So here before this employee management portal, I should print some equals to like this. So I want to add one employee. One. So employee added. Again we got employee management portal, and again I can choose second option. Employee updated. And now I will choose third option. On third option, employee deleted. On fourth option, exit. Exit, but again we are getting options because while loop is true every time. There are two keywords, break and continue. Now this break will break the switch. So here I will declare one boolean value. Boolean flag is equals to true. The initial value of this flag is true. So here I will give this flag value, and when user is trying to exit, I will make the flag value as false so that while loop is not running again. Okay, sorted? Very good. We will check it again now. On 1 we are getting options again, 2 we are getting again, 3 we are getting again. On 4 you are exited, and now I can't type anything as while loop is stopped. Okay. Rest of all the operations we will do tomorrow now. So what is the takeaway of today's session? How JDBC template works with data manager, driver manager data source class, and how update method is used every time whenever you want to insert a value, you want to update some value, you want to delete some value. For reading the values means for doing select operation, this select test trick, we use query method that is yet to study. Query method is used with row mapper. You studied row mapper in JDBC or not? Studied along with result set. Now those who are saying that you have studied row mapper is not there in JDBC. How you studied this? How you studied this? That's what I am saying. It's not there. Those who are saying yes, how you studied it? Result set is there, that I know. I just casually asked, you studied or not? And yes, we studied. How? It is not even there in normal JDBC. It is there in Spring JDBC, right? So, a short I am giving. Here we are not using driver manager, right? Driver manager we are not using. What we are using in place of this? Data source. Same way, here we don't use result set. Again, result set, you have to run a loop to print the values, this, that. Here we will just use row mapper. And what this row mapper will do? It will take values from database and give the Java object to you. So you can print in a Java format. Anyhow, we will do these in upcoming session. And tomorrow we will complete this employee management system. Then we will learn about query method, query with row mapper, and then we will do all the CRUD operations with Oracle also. Right? Generally, there is a choice. I can only teach with MySQL, but I don't want to give you a loose point. So we will do with Oracle also. And If any of your family member, your elder sibling, if they are working in IT industry, so ask them a question. Are you working on the technology that you studied? Ask them this question. Are you working on the technology that you studied? In 90% of the case, the answer will be no. In 90% of the case, they will say no. I studied Java, but I am working on React. Sorted. Because at the time of your interview, they will ask you full stack. What they will ask you? Full stack. But why we are studying? That's what I am saying, that why you are studying. Because they will ask full stack in interview. What they will ask? Complete full stack. They will ask you front end part, database part, DevOps part, SpringBoot, everything they will ask. But you will be working on one unit. That can be your React, that can be your SQL Oracle, that can be your only SpringBoot also. And I will tell you one thing, my complete history is in Java only. Like I know other languages, a complete set of 16 programming languages that I worked with, I know. But Java is all time crush here. I was getting interviewed in this Z group. There are a lot of TV channels here, so I worked with them. And they hired me as a Java developer. How? Java developer. I was very happy that again I will have to work with Spring Boot. But the twist is on the my joining day, my team leader taught me this sentence. You have 15 days to learn React Native. A completely different framework to build mobile apps. And this was the same sentence. Shivam, you have 15 days to learn React Native. At, at that time, I was zero in React Native. Zero. Because I was developing apps using Java. If you are not learning, so for your kind information, for first 3 months in your job, you will be on probation period. And for your kind information, probation period means your company can say this sentence anytime. We are sorry to let you go. Anytime. Within this probation period, they can say this sentence anytime. We are sorry to let you go. Anytime. If your performance is not up to that mark, at least you should show some intent to them that you are learning at least. So I was given 15 days. Already I was a senior developer, so learning something in 15 days is quite easy. And I will say only 7 days are required. Only 7. Because when you know the technologies, same code, same IOC, same dependency injection, same container, same CSS, same XML. So what is the deal? You just need to learn some methods. I did it. And I went to the position of team leader there actually. So that's how. And it happened with me 3 times. That what my company hired me for, I worked on some different technology. So please remove this particular thing in your mind that no, we know Oracle only, we know MySQL only, we know H2 only, we know MongoDB only, we know PySpark only, we know HBase only. These are simple database. Simple. Your company can literally change your tech stack also. I left TCS. I was senior engineer there. I left TCS because they transferred me to Python. I said, no, I can't work with Python. I know Python, but I don't want to work with Python. I left. So you will not have a chance to left actually. I was senior, so they let me go. So be ready for challenges, right? So never ever have these things in your mind that I know this only, I will work with this. Your company will not work according to you. You will work according to your company. If company is saying that on Oracle we don't have any vacancy now, come in MySQL. So you will say, no, no, I don't work in MySQL. I work with Oracle only. Then this will be your answer? Not at all. You badly need a job at that time. So make yourself comfortable and ask to those who are already working. This is not my sentence. Ask to those who are already working. Within a minute, within a project, your tech stack can change. Tech stack. Tech stack means you are a Java person. They will send you to Python. Learn it and do. So this is the time is given. Unless and until you are going to Accenture or those. There was one of my student. She's from this Hyderabad only. She got placed in Accenture. And on her onboarding day, she called me that, sir, the environment is very good here. I'm just loving Accenture. And I just laughed on call. She asked, what happened? I said, just stay 7 days there. She was a brilliant girl in SpringBoot. And now she is a Salesforce developer. But good part is, Accenture generally gives you 4 months to learn along with the classes there. They will give you one trainer of Salesforce, learn Salesforce. So for the first 4 months, she didn't work on anything. She was going to office, attending 3 classes in one day, coming back. Salary was there. And now CI is not writing a single line of Java and Spring Boot. So these things are very common. Fine, guys. Let's connect again tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care.